Sorry it's been a while since I made one of these videos. To offer some kind of explanation, I have been a little busy. I got a new job, and it took me some time to kind of settle into that, and I've had some other projects going on. And also, I got this nifty new thing that allows me to travel to different times and relative dimensions in space. It's pretty cool. Anyway, we're back, and I know it's been a year, but I'm going to get these videos made a lot more frequently, and we're going to talk about a lot more things. So, let's get started. I seem to recall on the last episode, we were going to talk about video editing, which sounds good, because with video editing you can do a whole bunch of fun stuff, and funny stuff and stupid stuff, kind of like I've done here. So, let me get out of this thing real quick, and we'll see what we can do. Making videos isn't actually all that hard, but what really takes up your time is the editing process. Putting it together, getting the sound right, adding things to it. That's where your time consumption is. And if you're going to have to spend some money on a video camera anyway, you may as well see if you can save a little money on the video editing software. After all, if you're not looking to make the next Spielberg film, then you'll probably be okay with the free or open source video editing suite. What? That thing? Look, don't give me that look. I know this one guy who drives around in one that looks like a police call box. What sense does that make? So, libraries and video. What the heck do those two things have to do with one another? Well, the answer kind of depends on your library and what your library's goals or ambitions might be. Me, I've made some commercials for my library system, and we've stuck these things online, on YouTube, we've put them on the front page of our website, and we've got these big screens in the library branches that we can put it on, as long as it doesn't have sound. So a couple of them, including one in particular, which I'll link in the show notes, was literally a silent film made in that style. But either way, you could use videos for commercials, to promote events. You could even video an event and use that as a promotional tool. In the end, it's all up to you. But the real reason you should look at it is video is kind of a big deal. After all, you're watching this, and you're still watching this, even though I might be boring and stale. You don't know yet. I am, after all, talking about libraries and videos. These aren't exactly the most two thrilling subjects on the face of the planet. Come on. So, the thing is, videos for your library don't need to be boring, nor do they need to be stale or anything like that. Look at this thing, for example. I just kicked off the video with a recycling bin TARDIS, for God's sake. I hope it was funny, but at the very least it was kind of smart-assed, and hopefully it got your attention. So, don't worry so much about the quality sometimes, more of your content. After all, there's plenty of amateurs on YouTube and Vimeo and places like that making some pretty cool videos, and they're not going to be the next James Cameron or anything. So, make some fun and entertaining and interesting videos. But, what do you need? First off, you're going to need some kind of camera. I use a cheapy HD camera that literally cost me about $100. Never mind the price though, because you can do the same thing with an iPhone 4S, one of those new nifty iPod Touches, some Android phones, things like that. They shoot HD video as well. You're going to need a tripod, and depending on your camera, you'll need a tripod mount. If you have an honest-to-goodness video camera, it'll probably have a hookup underneath for a tripod. Either way, the tripod is a must because it holds your camera steady. Laptop computer. Well, I don't
Well, you don't need it. I can't recommend it highly enough. I have one on every shoot to dump video off the camera, act as a teleprompter, provide access to my script, hook up audio equipment. Oh yeah, audio equipment. If you can get a laptop for your shoot, you should get yourself a USB microphone for audio. Most camera audio leaves something to be desired. Using an external mic to record the audio helps a lot. I don't use anything special. Heck, this thing came off of one of those Rock Band games or something. The great thing about a USB mic is they work on almost anything and typically have decent sound for a decent price. If you can score a mic stand for your microphone, great. It's a lovely thing to have, and they cost about as much as the USB mic, which is about $20.
Okay, so that's your gear, but let's see what we need to do with it.
Videos can kind of be what you want them to be, but let me save you a bunch of time. Write a script. You need a script. No matter if it's a 30-second promo or something really involved like this video, you need a script. It's a lifesaver because you know what to say, what's happening, what you're going to do next, and what your scene is going to be, and so on. It doesn't have to be anything special, and it doesn't have to conform to screenwriting guidelines. It's something to help you along. And oh yeah, voiceover. I'm doing that now. It's a cheap and easy thing to do. I just mute the sound from the clip and talk over it instead. After all, if I didn't have to mute the scene in this clip, you'd realize I was listening to ABBA. Okay, let's take a look at Linux first, because it's both free and open source. There are a couple of decent video editors for Linux that I want to touch on. I'm not going to go in depth on how to use them because, wow, that's another show in and of itself. The two I recommend and actually use are OpenShot and Kdenlive. The original opening to my show was cut together with Kdenlive. Both have some great features and are easy to use, but they're both a little different than the other. The nice thing is why not snag both? I've got both Kdenlive and OpenShot, and I use both of them on occasion. All of these editors are non-linear video editors, which means it doesn't matter what order you shoot your clips in, you can drag and arrange and set them up as you like. Kdenlive has a really easy workflow allowing you to layer your clips on top of each other, around each other, add music, voiceover, whatever you need to do. OpenShot also offers you the ability to layer your clips on top of each other, add audio, video, voiceover, and all of that. It has a more simplified layout than Kdenlive though. I typically use OpenShot for quick projects where I just need to cut together some video real quick, and Kdenlive for the more advanced stuff. On the Windows side of things, you really only have one option, but it's not all that bad. Windows Movie Maker is just about as simple as it gets, and while Microsoft is kind of lax on supporting it, if you just need to do a simple editing job, it's not a bad solution. A friend of mine actually cut together a sort of 80s montage complete with You're the Best Around from The Karate Kid using nothing but Windows Movie Maker, and it looked oddly correct. Finally, on the OS X side of things, you've got iMovie. Now, iMovie actually just comes with OS X. It's part of the iLife suite for Macintosh. So when you open your box and pull out your shiny new Mac, you're going to have iMovie. And of all of the options I've covered in the show today, this is probably the most full-featured editor. It has the most power, it's the easiest to use, it is well written, and pretty smooth. I run mine on a Mac Mini, and other than the occasional stutter that probably just comes from only having 4 gigs of RAM on board, this thing runs just fine. I've actually done a couple short movies in iMovie, and I was really pleased with the results. So if you do have OS X at your disposal, then you also have this at your disposal, and I cannot recommend it highly enough if this is your option.
So as you can see, there's a lot of choice, and believe me, there's a lot to learn. The nice thing is with the free and open source video editors, and any other video editor for the most part, you can just kind of Google around for any problem you're having, and you'll probably come across a forum or a document, even a video, that explains how to do what you want to do. Now, I can see some people might be curious as to what I use to make these videos, And I'm not going to lie, I use Final Cut Pro 10, which is anything but free or open source. And the reason I use that is because after making videos like these for several years now, your skills continue to grow and you start to want more out of your video editor, and sometimes it's more than what your open source or free video editor can provide. Now, I have no problem using proprietary software, but Final Cut Pro is not cheap. However, if you're looking for a video editor that's a little bit above the cut that we've seen here today, I can't recommend Corel Video Studio Pro highly enough. I used it all the time, up until recently actually, for most everything that I did. I might have cut some things together in Linux, but usually my finished video was done with Corel Video Studio Pro. It'll do everything from opening credits to closing credits, and it'll do green screening. It's probably more than you want to start off with, but at a price tag of only about $70, it's not bad, it's full featured, and it's very easy to use. So give that a shot if you're not into, paying $200 to $300 for Final Cut Pro, especially if it's just for a couple videos here and there for your own hobby, or maybe your library can't finance that kind of thing anyway. Even if, you can't get a hold of those things, the open source editors like Kdenlive are very good. I use Kdenlive a lot. And if you've used Corel Video Studio, you'll notice Kdenlive has a lot in common. The workflow is very similar, which is kind of nice because coming from Kdenlive to Corel Video Studio, I was already ready to go. Anyway, it's about time to get out of here. That's all I've got time for with this episode. Thanks for watching and thanks for sticking with the series. We'll have more videos up on a more frequent basis now that things have kind of settled down in my life. And I've got some time to go shoot some video and edit it and do things with it and have a whole lot of fun. Subscribe to the channel if you like. Drop a comment, below, whatever you'd like to do. Helps the channel grow. Give me a like or whatever. It's YouTube. I think you figured out how to use it by now. I'll see you next time on Cyberpunk Librarian. And remember, you don't have to be high-tech to be low budget, but it certainly helps if you're a cyberpunk. See you next time.